National Public Radio, in association with Independent Radio Drama Productions, presents one of the cases of Sherlock Holmes, with Edward Petherbridge as Sherlock Holmes and David Peart as Dr. John H. Watson. This is A Study in Scarlet.
Yes. I won't be a minute.
What's this all about, Holmes?
Would you pass me that saucer from the tea tray?
Oh.
The little dog has been poorly for so long that the landlady wanted the doctor to put it out of its pain yesterday. Now, gentlemen, I will cut one of these pills in two. One half I will place in this wine glass, in which there is a teaspoon of water. You see, our friend the doctor is right. It dissolves easily.
This may be very interesting, but I cannot see what it has to do with the death of Mr. Joseph Stangerson.
Patience, my friend. Patience. You will find in time that it has everything to do with it. I shall now add a little milk to make the mixture palatable, and in presenting it to the dog, I am sure we will find that he'll lap it up readily enough. My dear Watson, bring the poor wretch over here. Now, we will time the experiment.
Oh, dear. The little dog appears neither the better or worse for its draught of Sherlock Holmes medicine, and our dear Holmes is looking most distressed.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, our time is rather valuable. Are we to expect this dog to disappear or turn into an elephant?
It can't be a coincidence. It is impossible that it should be a mere coincidence. The very pills which I suspected in the case of Drebber are actually found after the death of Stangerson, and yet they are inert. What can it mean? Surely my whole chain of reasoning cannot have been false. It is impossible. And yet this wretched dog is none the worse. I have it. Let me cut the other pill and try the same thing. Water. Milk. And now, my poor little terrier, we shall put you out of your misery.
The unfortunate creature's tongue seems to have hardly moistened, and it now gives a convulsive shiver and lies as rigid and lifeless as if it had been struck by lightning.
I should have more faith. I ought to know by this time that when a fact appears to be opposed to a long train of deductions, it invariably proves to be capable of bearing some other interpretation. Of the two pills in the box, one contained the most deadly poison and the other was entirely harmless. I ought to have known that before I saw the box at all. Well, my dear Lestrade and Gregson, all this seems strange to you because you failed at the beginning of the inquiry to grasp the importance of the single real clue which was presented to you. I had the good fortune to seize upon that, and everything which has occurred since then has served to confirm my original supposition, and indeed was the logical sequence of it. Hence, things which have perplexed you and made the case more obscure have served to enlighten me and to strengthen my conclusions. It is a mistake to confound strangeness with mystery. The most commonplace crime is often the most mysterious, because it presents no new or special features from which deductions may be drawn. This murder would have been infinitely more difficult to unravel had the body of the victim been simply found lying in the roadway without any of those sensational accompaniments which have rendered it so remarkable. These strange details, far from making the case more difficult, have really had the effect of making it less so.
Look here, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. We're all ready to acknowledge that you're a smart man and that you have your own methods of working. But we want something more than mere theory and preaching now. It is a case of finding the man. I've made my case out, and it seems I was wrong. Young Charpentier could not have been engaged in this second affair. Lestrade went after his man, Stangerson, and it appears he was wrong too. You've thrown out hints here and hints there, and seem to know more than we do. But the time has come when we feel we have a right to ask you straight out how much you do know of this business. Can you name the man who did it?
I cannot help feeling that Gregson is right, sir. We both tried and we both failed. You've remarked more than once since I've been in the room that you had all the evidence which you require. Surely you will not withhold it any longer.
Any delay in arresting the assassin might give him time to perpetrate some fresh atrocity.
There will be no more murders. You can put that consideration out of the question. You have asked me if I know the name of the assassin. I do. The mere knowing of his name is a small thing, however, compared with the task of laying our hands upon him. This I expect to do very shortly. I have good hopes of managing it through my own arrangements, but it is a thing which needs delicate handling. We have a shrewd and desperate man to deal with, who is supported, as I have had occasion to prove, by another who is as clever as himself. As long as this man has no idea that anyone can have a clue, there is some chance of securing him. But if he had the slightest suspicion, he would change his name and vanish in an instant among the 4 million inhabitants of this great city, without meaning to hurt either of your feelings. I am bound to say that I consider these men to be more than a match for the official force, and that is why I have not asked for your assistance. If I fail, I shall, of course, incur the blame due to this omission, but that I am prepared for. At present, I am ready to promise that the instant that I can communicate with you without endangering my own delicate arrangements, I shall do so.
But Mr. Sherlock...
It's Sir Wiggins, sir. Please, sir, I have the cab downstairs.
Good boy. Why don't you introduce this brand of handcuffs at Scotland Yard? See how beautifully the spring works? They fasten in an instant.
The old brand is good enough if we can only find a man to put them on.
Very good, very good. The cabman may as well help me with my boxes. Just ask him to step up, Wiggins.
Right, Mr. H.
Are you embarking on a long journey? You haven't said anything about it to me.
Patience, my dear Watson, patience. Ah, cabman.
Yes, sir?
Just give me a hand with this buckle over here, will you?
Right, sir.
Gentlemen, let me introduce you to Mr. Jefferson Hope, the murderer of Enoch Drebber and Joseph Stangerson.
I've got his necktie.
I've got his hands. I've got his feet.
And we have his cab. It will serve to take him to Scotland Yard. And now, gentlemen, we have reached the end of our little mystery. You are very welcome to put any questions that you like to me now, and there is no danger that I will refuse to answer them.
I guess you're going to take me to the police station. My cab's at the door. If you'll loosen my legs, I'll walk down to it. I'm not so light as I used to be.
Allow me.
What a powerful man. His dark and sunburned face bears an expression of determination and energy which is as formidable as his personal strength.
If there's a place for a chief of police, I reckon you are the man for it. The way you kept on my trail was a caution.
Gregson, Lestrade, you had better come with me.
I can drive you.
Good. And Gregson can come inside with me. You too, Doctor. You have taken an interest in the case and may as well stick to it.
Thank you. What's the prisoner's name?
He is one Jefferson Hope, charged with the murder of Mr. Enoch J. Drebber and Mr. Joseph Stangerson.
The prisoner, Jefferson Hope, will be put before the magistrates in the course of the week. In the meantime, Mr. Jefferson Hope, have you anything that you wish to say? I must warn you that your words will be taken down and may be used against you.
I have a great deal to say. I want to tell you, gentlemen, all about it.
And you better reserve that for your trial.
I may never be tried.
What?
You needn't look startled. It isn't suicide I'm thinking of. Are you a doctor?
Yes, I am.
Then put your hand here, on my chest.
Good God. There's an extraordinary throbbing and commotion going on inside, and I can hear a dull humming and buzzing. You have an aortic aneurysm.
That's what they call it. I went to a doctor last week about it, and he told me that it is bound to burst before many days are past. It has been getting worse for years. I got it from overexposure and underfeeding among the Salt Lake Mountains. I've done my work now, and I don't care how soon I go, but I should like to leave some account of the business behind me. I don't want to be remembered as a common cutthroat.
Do you consider, sir, that there's any immediate danger?
Most certainly there is.
In that case, it's clearly our duty, in the interests of justice, to take his statement. You're at liberty, sir, to give your account, which I again warn you will be taken down.
My story springs from a region of desolation and silence where water never flows. The coyote skulks among the scrub. The buzzard flaps heavily through the air. This is the arid, dusty plain that stretches from the northern slope of the Sierra Blanco, where you will find here and there the white bones of oxen and lost men glistening in the sun. My story concerns a solitary traveler taking slow, tired steps down a ravine here in the hope of seeing some signs of water. The date is the 4th of May, 1847. His face is lean and haggard, his long brown hair and beard all flecked and dashed with white dust. His skin hardly more fleshy than a bare skeleton. That man is dying from hunger, from thirst. He is carrying a large bundle tied up in a gray shawl and slung over his right shoulder.
Why not here? I'd have to go in a featherbed 20 years from now anyway. I can't carry this anymore.
Oh, you've hurt me.
I'm sorry. I didn't aim to. Come on. Out you come. How is it now?
Make it well, Papa. My head, the back.
Oh. There. Better, huh?
Mama always kisses me. Where's Mama?
Mother's gone, child. Guess you'll see her soon.
Gone? But she didn't say goodbye, Papa. She's been gone 3 days. Say, it's awful dry, ain't it? Ain't there no water or stuff to eat, Papa?
No. There ain't nothing, dearie. Just be patient a while, and you'll be all right. Put your head up again. Like that. And then you'll feel bullier. Ain't easy to talk when your lips is like leather. But I guess I'd best let you know how the cards lie. Well, what's that you've got?
Pretty things.
Let's have a look here. Right. Micah. Can't block the sun through it, though.
When we goes back home, I'll give him to Brother Bob.
Reckon you'll see prettier things than them soon. You just wait a while. You remember when we left the river?
It's so hot, Papa.
Yes, I know, dearie. But you remember, we reckoned we'd strike another river soon. See? But there was something wrong. Compasses or map. Something that didn't turn up. Water ran out. Just except a little drop for the likes of you and...
I'm thirsty, Papa.
I know. And no water to drink then and none to drink now. And Mr. Benter, he was the first to go. You remember him?
Yes, Papa.
Then Indian Pete. And then Mrs. McGregor. Then Johnny Holmes. And then...
Yes, Papa.
And then you pull Mother.
Then Mother's dead. Mama's dead.
Yes, they all went except you and me. I thought there was some chance of water in this direction. And we tramped it together. Doesn't seem to have done any good. There's an almighty small chance for us now.
Are we gonna die, Papa?
I guess that's about the size of it.
As long as we die together, we'll be with Mother again.
Reckon you're right there, child.
How long?
I don't know. Not very long now. Not the prettiest birds alive. When they join you for company, they ain't got much time to go.
Say, Papa, did God make this country?
Of course he did.
He made the country down in Illinois. And he made the Missouri. But I guess somebody else made the country in these parts.
Side by side, these two wanderers made a strange sight for the buzzards. They knelt down and offered a silent prayer, and then slumped down in the shadow of a large boulder. The child was asleep on his shoulder. For 3 days and 3 nights he had allowed himself no sleep and no rest. Slowly the eyelids drooped over the tired eyes, and his head sunk lower and lower upon his chest, and both slept a deep and dreamless sleep. Far, far away in the distance, a little spray of dust rose up, very slight at first, but gradually growing higher and broader until it formed a solid, well-defined cloud. The cloud continued to increase in size until it was clear it could only be raised by a great multitude of creatures. Through the haze, canvas-covered wagons and armed horsemen in a great caravan. When the head of it reached the base of the mountains, the rear could not be seen on the horizon.
So we shall reach the Rio Grande.
Fear not for water. He who departs from the rock will not now abandon his chosen people.
There! Redskins! There can't be any number of Indians here. We've passed the Pawnees, and there are no other tribes until we cross the Great Mountains.
Shall I go forward and see, Brother Stangerson?
Let's go. Leave your horses below, and we will await you here.
As the young men climbed the dusty white slopes, they were heading for a little plateau and a single giant boulder. From the distance, all they could see was a fluttering little wisp of pink cloth.
Look like ants up there.
They've stopped.
What can you see?
Can't make it out. Look. Look there. They found something.
They had found a tall, long-bearded and hard-featured man, thin and unconscious. And beside him, the body of a little child, her round arms encircling his brown sinewy neck, her golden-haired head resting on his chest. And 3 solemn buzzards.
Jesus! They still alive?
Get away!
This is what they call delirium, I guess.
Praise the Lord. They're alive.
Ghosts. Come here, child.
Where have you come from, traveler?
Hell. Talking ghosts.
No, brother. We are the clay that the good Lord molded. Here, I'll wipe the dust from my face.
What is your name, traveler? And how long have you been on your own?
My name's John Ferrier. Me and the little one. All that's left of 21 people. The rest is all dead of thirst and hunger. Way down the south.
Is she your child?
I guess she is now. She's mine. 'Cause I saved her. No man will take her from me. She's Lucy Ferrier. From this day on. Who are you, though? There seems to be a powerful lot of ye.
Nigh upon 10,000. We are the persecuted children of God, the chosen of Angel Morona.
He appears to have chosen a fair crowd of ye.
Do not jest at that which is sacred. We are those who believe in those sacred writings, drawn in Egyptian letters on plates of beaten gold, which were handed on to the holy Joseph Smith at Palmyra. We have come from Nauvoo, in the state of Illinois, where we have founded our temple. We have come to seek a refuge from the violent man and from the godless, even though it be in the heart of the desert.
I see. You are the Mormons.
That's right. We are the Mormons.
And where are you going?
We do not know. The hand of God is leading us under the person of our prophet. You must come before him. He shall say what is to be done with you.
At the base of the hill, they were surrounded by crowds of pilgrims. They were pushed on towards a wagon with 6 horses yoked to it. Beside the driver sat a man no more than 30 years of age, but whose massive head and resolute expression marked him as leader. He had been reading a book, but laid it aside to listen to the castaways and the account of their miraculous discovery.
If we take you with us, we can only be as believers in our own creed. We shall have no wolves in our fold. Better far that your bones should bleach in this wilderness than that you should prove to be that little speck of decay which in time corrupts the whole fruit. Will you come with us on these terms?
Well, guess I'll come with you on any terms.
Take him, Brother Stangerson. Give him food and drink, and the child likewise. Let it be your task also to teach him our holy creed. We have delayed long enough. Forward! On to Zion!
Come with me, Brother Ferrier and young Lucy. You'll stay here for some days to recover your strength. In the meantime, remember that now and forever you are of our religion. Brigham has said it, and he has spoken with the voice of Joseph Smith, which is the voice of God.
From the shores of the Lord, you have led us to this broad valley of Utah, and this shall be our promised land, the land of milk and honey.
Draining and hedging, planting and clearing, our flourishing wheat crop has turned our country golden.
And we offer our great temple as our monument to God's glory, here in the center of the city, taller and larger than the highest tree.
Brother Ferrier is a useful guide and a tireless hunter.
He should be provided with land.
He has a farm as large and fertile as any elder.
His log house has been built into a substantial villa.
He works morning and evening.
3 years and he's better off than our neighbors.
6 years and he is well-to-do.
9 years and he is rich.
12 years and there are not a half a dozen men in Salt Lake City who can compare with him.
He refuses to take a wife.
He will not be persuaded.
He looks down on those who have many wives.
Perhaps he spurns the teachings of our prophet.
Greed of wealth, he fears the expense.
An early love affair? A fair-haired girl pining away on the shores of the Atlantic?
Young Lucy grows taller and stronger with every year.
Lithe, girlish, tripping through the wheat fields.
Riding her daddy's Mustang with all the ease and grace of a true child of the West.
Bud blossoms into flower.
As fair a specimen of American girlhood as could be found in the whole Pacific slope.
She will make someone a good and worthy wife.
It was not her father who first discovered that the child had developed into the woman. It seldom is in such cases. That mysterious change is too subtle and too gradual to be measured by dates. Least of all does the maiden herself know it until the tone of a voice or the touch of a hand sets her heart thrilling within her, and she learns, with a mixture of pride and of fear, that a new and larger nature has awoken within her. It was a warm June morning. Gold fever had broken out in California. The overland route of tired immigrants lay through this city of the elect, the Latter-day Saints.
We can get through these. Steady. Steady now, Poncho. Oh!
Yeah.
Just hold on there. I've got your horse's bridle here. We'll be through the drove. You just hold on there. You're not hurt, I hope, miss.
I'm awful frightened. Who'd have thought Poncho would be so scared by a load of cows?
Cattle caught him on their horns. Thank God you kept your seat. I guess you're the daughter of John Ferrier. I saw you ride down from his house.
Say, you do a lot of watching.
Well, when you see him, ask him if he remembers the Jefferson Hopes of St. Louis. If he's the same Ferrier, my father and he were pretty thick.
Hadn't you better come and ask him yourself?
Well, I'll do so. We've been in the mountains for 2 months and are not in a visiting condition. He'll have to take us as he finds us.
He has a good deal to thank you for. And so have I. He's awful fond of me. If those cows had jumped on me, I'd never have got over it.
Well, neither would I.
You? Well, I don't see that it would make much matter to you anyhow. I mean, you ain't even a friend of ours. Oh, there, I didn't mean that. Of course, you are a friend now. You must come and see us. But now, I must push along here, or Father won't trust me with his business anymore. Goodbye.
Edward Petherbridge was Sherlock Holmes, with David Peart as Dr. John H. Watson. The story was adapted for radio by Tim Crook, with violin music performed by Robert Gibbs and Michiko Ueno. I'm Steve Zakar. Support for this program is provided by National Public Radio member stations and the NPR Arts and Performance Fund. This is NPR, National Public Radio.